Hey, this is Tepco Cycle Repair. Today we're going to be going over the KTM 400. This is an electric start version, and it's got that metal clanking sound when you go to start it with your electric clutch. So when you push the starter button, you're hearing it sounds like metal on metal. It sounds like the starter's having an issue. I'm going to show you what the problem is and how to fix it, and what the parts that you need to get, and part numbers and all. So basically what we have here, this is a 2001 KTM 400 MXC. I have it laying on its side, and I just have it set up on a stand. You can see the center stand there. I just have it laying on there so that I don't have to drain the oil. This bike was just serviced, so we're good to go. And basically I have the side cover off, which is no big deal, and I just didn't feel like I needed to go over how to get to this point. There's plenty of videos out there, but basically here's the parts that I've taken off. I have the clutch here, the basket, and the clutch hub, and here I have the brake pedal. You need to take the brake pedal off just for access. The Kickstarter, take all the bolts off around the coverage you can see there, and it slides right off. Now the rest of the parts that come off are the gears that are in here. After you get the clutch basket off here, you have the hub. Here's your crankshaft right here. This is a reverse thread nut. All right, right here on the nut, if you can see it, it says left. All right, it's the left thread here. So when you take that off, make sure you take it off the right direction. Now, on that goes this right here. Now this piece with the gear, this goes on this way. There's a keyway in it. And inside of that is what we're going to be working on today. And you can see there's a little groove in there. That's for the for room for the spring. Hopefully you can see that. All right, that's where the spring sits in there. A little bit of wear in there, nothing extreme. It all looks good. And the other side rubs on this section right here, and I'll show you what we're talking about. It's what's called the Sprag. Okay, and it's this item right here. So this has got a little spring in it, and if you can see the side here, see these are real loose in there. The spring that's in the center is worn. All right, so that spring that's worn in there, it gets too loose, and these don't stay in place. This goes around the outside here. The other part right here, okay, this is the outer part of it, of the starter clutch. This goes on the outside. And what happens when you turn your starter is you crank the starter here, it spins this, spins the gear here, turns this, and when it spins this here, these wedge on the outside, and it cranks, turns the engine. So when these start, when it starts spinning, it actually spins the other gear, sorry. It spins the other one, these will kind of wedge in there and crank the engine. So when these start going bad, you can see how they're hanging there. They shouldn't be hanging like that. They'll sit in there loose, and they won't grab right. So they just make a big racket in there, and everything else looks good in here. So I'm going to show you how to change this. Now you can't buy just that spring from KTM. You have to buy this whole unit right here, and the whole unit here is about $70, $75 depending on where you're going. So what you're going to want is a SKF seal. Okay, the FKF seal is right here. The part number, I went to NAPA. It's actually a seal for, I believe, a Triumph car, but the seal number here is 19993, and that's a SKF number. NAPA will be able to find it. And just in case, I'll try to get you in there on the barcode so you can see that as well. All right, and it's just a seal, and here's if that number helps you when you're going to get it. And basically the only part that we need is the spring. All right, so the spring is right inside here, inside the seal, right there. So the rest of that you can just chuck. This is the spring that we need. So coming over here, we're going to have to change that spring. So I'm going to set you guys up here in the, with the tripod so I can get that done. Alright, so like we said, you can see this, and yes, I'm leaning on the floor here because my counter is filled with some other stuff I'm working on. So I'm going to change this out. So I'm going to grab the spring right here. I'm leaving it flat on the ground here so these little paws don't come out and go all over the place. So I'm just going to work this spring up right here. Okay, and there's the old spring, and it's worn out. You can see it's kind of all twisted up and binding. And you see how the new one is sitting nice and flat and round right here, and this one's doing this whole mess. So that's toast. So we're going to put the new one on here. Just going to work it on. Fits nice and tight like a good new spring. Going to get it back into the groove, and there it is in the groove. and now these are all nice and tight in here. So now when I push them out, they spring right back. So when they grab to engage the crankshaft and start the bike, when they're done, they spring right back into place. There's no wear in here. If you see any kind of excessive wear around on these paws right here, it needs to be replaced. And then I would just say buy the whole unit and drop it in there. So this unit right here, this just drops in like that. Okay, it sits right inside there, and then there's your keyway. So I'm going to go ahead and reassemble it, and then I'll fire it up for you. And I'm sorry I didn't have a original start for you with all the cranking noise. I had this bike apart and wasn't sure what was going on with some other issues with the bike, so I kind of had it already broken down this far. So I went ahead and just pulled this apart and made you this video. But you can see a couple videos and other posts on it if you go to some sites. What they call it is the Sprag, or the starter clutch. So I'm going to put it back together again, and then I'll turn it back on so you guys can see it start up and see how it's supposed to sound when it cranks up. All right, be back in a minute. All right, so here's the KTM 400. This is after the Sprag repair, and I'm just going to hit the starter button. I'm not going to have it start because I have to finish putting the rest of the stuff together, but this is how it should sound. All ready to go. Battery's all charged up. It's got a couple other new things in it. I'll turn the gas on, fire it up, take it for a ride. So it's a simple repair. If it starts making a rattling noise, just stop using the starter until you get it fixed. That seal cost me $11 for the seal. That Sprag whole replacement is $75, so it's an easy repair. Just get it done. Don't tear your stuff up. You know, these bikes, they'll run forever as long as you take care of them, you know, when they're asking to be taken care of. So if something starts to go wrong and you hear it, you feel it, you notice something's not right, just get on it and fix it. It's a whole lot cheaper to do it than to let the bike blow up or go bad on you. All right? So good luck. Any questions, post them on. I'll do my best to answer them for you. And I'll keep putting some videos together for you guys as bikes come into my shop. Okay? Take care.